Ihr Lieben, in dieser Sendung geht es um die Story von Keya, und zwar, wie sie sich tatsächlich von einer tödlichen Krankheit geheilt hat und wie sie ihre energetische Heilungsmethode aufgebaut hat. Es ist richtig, richtig spannend, denn ursprünglich hat sie eigentlich bei der BBC gearbeitet und Leute interviewt und ganz viel im Radio gemacht. Also richtig, richtig spannend. Und was ich persönlich auch total cool finde, es ist meine erste Buddha bei die Fische Sendung auf Englisch. Wie kann es noch besser werden? Ihr Lieben, ich wünsche euch ganz viel Spaß mit der Sendung. Und wenn es euch gefällt, lasst mir einen Daumen hoch da und abonniert unseren Kanal. Viel Spaß mit dieser Sendung. Keya really has experienced a lot in life. So much that is nearly too much for one life, but she handled it perfectly, masterfully actually, and changed her life around from a BBC interviewer, a BBC worker in the media, as a singer-songwriter, and as behind-the-scene person, to a person who can now heal people with energy. And she created the method quantum reunification. And we will talk about that. And I mean, quitting a job at the BBC, I think that is not so easy. So Keya, you quit the BBC job. Was that an easy decision?
It was not an easy decision. It was a soul call. Quitting the media and the recording industry, because I was in both at the same time. So on both sides of the microphone, being the artist, the singer-songwriter, trying to get some form of path to reach the audience, the potential audience to this music I've been a carrier for. And then on the other end, the radio. And no, it was not easy. It was obvious.
Yeah, it's all the ego involved, isn't it? I mean, is it, I mean, working in radio or television like I do has a lot of image with it, and you have to achieve things. Was that something you were tired of?
I was afraid of it, if I'm very raw honest. I was afraid of it because we all have an ego, and your ego is very much boosted when you're constantly exposed, and you have a lot of people watching you, looking at you, projecting onto you their own fantasy, really. And I had this impression that I was not going to belong to myself anymore if I had stayed in these surroundings. And I woke up one spring morning, and I just thought, wait a minute, is it what I came to this planet to do? And the answer was, I don't think so. So I was that's what I call it, a soul call, because it took me a while to really realize what was going on, but I believe that the soul knows better. And my soul pushed me out, if that makes sense.
It does make sense if people are aware of these constellations. And you worked for different radio channels, right? Not just in England for the BBC. How was your sort of way into this media business?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I had a band a long time ago in Paris. And during the summer, my partner was in Australia installing a machine. So I was on my own, and I was bringing the demo tapes we had with the band to the very first FM stations. That was the beginning of and the guy said, oh, you've got a lovely voice when you talk. And he told the audience to call if they liked the voice. And that's how it all began. And I began a radio presenter without even understanding why.
What made you sick in the business?
I don't want to judge. Because it's, everybody is there is where their consciousness is. But it is a very fabricated business, and this business sells products. When an artist is somebody super sensitive who's actually having antennas and receiving a lot of stuff that comes from the world. And there are various types of entertainment. Some people sing for diamonds and pearls. Some people sing to make the world a better place. We don't all come from the same place in this regard. And I don't say, I don't want to judge, really, you know?
I know. But it's all right. I mean, it's not judging when you say this wasn't mine anymore. I think that's not really judging. It's just you chose something else.
So for me, what was really tough personally was the lack of integrity. I'm somebody with that vibration of truth and integrity very, very strong within my system. I don't have to do anything. It is here when I am here. And being a woman, I also found, not in London though, but in France and in other places, I found the business quite sexist. Mm. And to me, before being even before being a woman, I'm a human being. And, you know, I always had the dream of having this music understood and myself as the artist. And when then there's a producer who wants obviously something else and blocks you if you don't comply, I was like, sorry, guys, it's no longer the middle age, you know? So here you go. You've got my heart on the table.
We will hear some of your music later, and you really have an incredible voice. I heard you before I saw you, and I thought that a Black woman was singing. It was amazing. So I think you had everything really to get big and famous. But were you afraid of the fame?
Yep, I was. I was not aware of being afraid of that, but it became very, very clear after I had left and I started to really dig deeper, because I was like, why do I have so many songs, all this material? Honestly, I have suitcases full of music. I could record, you could put me in a recording studio for 3 or 6 months and I would come out with 10 albums without even writing new songs. All right. And I keep on writing new songs. I still do to this very day. So yes, there was a fear of that. And again, it refers to the soul memories, which has become the main frame of my work now, by the way.
I know we're going to talk about that you totally changed around your life. This, when you left the BBC or when you quit this kind of job, was that the darkest hour of your life?
No, I believe I had darker ones after. And, you know, the dark hours of our lives are pivotal moments. They are the moments where everything can shift. So every dark night of the soul, as we call it, the dark night of the soul, is an opportunity to shift closer to who we truly are. That's how I look at it.
And you had a few darkest hours, don't you? I mean, with 14, as a young woman, you had a near-death experience. And was that the lead, without knowing what you're doing now?
Well, thank you for that question, which is a deep question. I believe that, so back then, nobody knew what near-death experience was. It was an accident. I was on a scooter, got crashed by a car. And the coma phases, I had 2 coma phases, were not that long, but I came back completely enlightened because I had felt, experienced, not thought about, not imagined. The oneness, which is beyond the veil, and this undescribable love.
So it was like knowing. Was it a knowing?
Yes, because when we experience something, it no longer taps into the beliefs. It no longer taps into hearing somebody telling you about something or reading a book. Although reading a book or listening to somebody can reawaken things very deep within us. But when your own consciousness is immersed into that, and you are feeling it, seeing it, experiencing it, it's another depth, you know. So yes, it was definitely a big shift.
It is then sort of, because you said you're sort of spreading love. Love is, you're the only real thing. That is your album is named like that. But later in life, you had a really nearly death-bringing disease. It's called myelopathy disease or something.
Yes.
How did your near-death experience help you with that? Because people say when they experience this universal love, this oneness, this, nothing really matters but that they can sort of heal themselves. And I mean, you're still alive. We're doing the interview, so something must have happened. Please tell us about that.
So yes, indeed. Once you know what's beyond the veil, as we can call it, there's no fear. Because to me, death, and it is again more profound than just a belief. I know there's nothing like death. It just does not exist. It is just a change of plane of consciousness. And the body is just it's like a suit. We put on a suit when we take this embodiment to come and live a life on planet Earth. And as I'm speaking, there's an ambulance.
Yeah, we can hear that.
Illustrating what we're talking about. So there's no such thing as death. And yes, when I got diagnosed, so my son was 5, and I realized that, got sick a few times, badly sick, big fever, big infections, got big tests, scans all over the body, x-rays, a marrow bone puncture, a lot of stuff. But by the way, the marrow bone puncture, I saw it from the ceiling because the consciousness went out of the body where the professor was doing it herself, and she was completely panicked because my heart almost stopped. But to me, these things are kind of almost usual, you know. As a young person, I would very often, I had to learn to anchor myself into this body because I tended to float above a little bit, which was it's not good to float above because we suffer more. It's actually
the body doesn't feel acknowledged, doesn't it? I mean, it needs you.
Exactly. And we suffer more. So we have to ground daily. And the form of spirituality which I have is very grounded and very anchored now. And I spent a lot of time with Native American Indians, the Lakota tribe, that I really, truly want to honor. And I'm so grateful to them for everything they've brought back into my life. But anyway, to get back to your question, yes, I was diagnosed, and then I observed, in the corridor of the hospital while I was having all these tests done, what was the key to this healing was the realization that as kind as the medicals can be, the nurses, the doctors, the specialists, and everybody around you, there's a tendency to treat the symptom. And then people, once they have the spell cast onto them, like you have this or you have that, they give the power to these doctors, and they let go of their own sovereignty within the body. And I was observing that around me, and I thought, oh, okay, so this body is my body. I don't own much in this life, but this is what I've been gifted to experience this life. We are all spiritual beings having an experience in the matter, and this is my body. And what I created within this body, even out of subconscious memories of whatever abuse at childhood and stuff like that, it is my job to take full responsibility. You know, I like to write the word responsibility in 2 words: responsibility, the ability to respond.
What happened to you or what you created in your life?
Yes. How have I created that? Out of which, and I saw that as a child, I was not so happy to be on this planet, even as a teenager, even as a young woman. So I was constantly praying, take me back home, take me back home. And
so you wanted to die. That's why you maybe created your disease.
I wanted to go back home. Yeah. What felt home was not planet Earth at first. But then my son was here and he was 5. And I was like, oh, but wait a minute, not now. Yeah. Not his beloved soul finally is here. So I kind of changed the choice. And then I just can share a few little things that I believe can be helpful.
Yeah. People. Can we postpone it a bit in the conversation? Because I really would like to know, or if it adds to it, then let me know. How do you really heal yourself? All right. Okay.
we are on a good wavelength. So first of all, I would say taking 100% responsibility. That was the key. That was the shift moment. Then understanding that this body, I used to take it for granted, when we have to be grateful for that, really. You know, we take it for granted. We breathe, we eat, we sleep, we read, we talk to one another. I can sing, I can dance, we can all sing and dance and think and do so many things, drive a car, and so on and so forth. And I started to shift that as well. And I had read about the research of Dr. Masaru Emoto, the Japanese doctor.
The water expert, right? He did research on water and how it reacts to different things, like music.
Exactly. So I started to understand that. And I also remembered something I had read at a very early age from the agenda of Mehr, this French woman who opened an ashram in India with Sri Aurobindo. And I had read from her agenda that every cell in our physical body has its own consciousness and its own intelligence. So I did a little bit of, my soul kitchen cooking, and I started a talk within to the cells of my body, thanking them, loving them, thanking the water, being grateful to the water every day, with every drop of water that comes into my body, even under the shower. And I do it to this very day. Every morning when I'm under the water, I go, thank you, water. I love you. Thank you so much for what you allow, and then it goes into the body. And when I drink water, and I don't always think about doing it, but I have this relationship and with the cells of my body. So when there is pain coming up, because I'm not pain-free, I'm a human being, just like everybody else. But if pain arises in the body, instead of, we all tend to fight or to resist what is disagreeable, what is experienced as disagreeable.
And we want it to go away straight away. Take a pill and that's it.
Exactly. We push it away, but we have to understand what pain is. Pain is a signal. It's a gift, actually. It's a gift given by the body that is trying to tell us and to attract our attention to the fact that there's something which is not flowing, that the energy is not flowing. Maybe there's a blockage in the energy flow. Maybe there is something, a habit we have, which is not supportive of the body. So when there's pain arising, I've developed the habit of, instead of pushing it away, I go inside of it. I go deep. I go inside of it to listen. And I go, okay, I'm listening to you. What are you trying to tell me?
And then the awareness you have, of course, is giving you something. I mean, this awareness is not that maybe the body really talks to you. It can be, but it can be as well like I see something in the paper, in the television or wherever, and all of a sudden this information is like, oh, that's the answer to what I asked my body. And is that sort of you shifted your mindset, you realize that water can be informed, according to Masaru Emoto and his research, and talking to your cells. Is that sort of, I mean, it sounds spooky, but is that is that what, not to you?
Spooky, whatever you want to name it, but it works.
Yeah. So that was what really made you actually fight is not a nice word, but get rid of this disease.
No fight. If I had fought, I would be dead now. No fight. It's not a fight. It is an acceptance. It is a flowing with. It is a stop resisting. It is a letting go. And it is a love. Ultimately, what healed me is love.
And is it the love for yourself? What I would like to put in as a word is what comes up right now, and I know it's important, is the word acknowledgement. Acknowledge your creations, acknowledge your body, not just be grateful. I mean, being grateful, is one of the keys as well, I guess, but to really acknowledge what is there, what you created, and who you are. Is that a key too? Can we say that?
Yes, it's one of the steps, I would say. Acknowledgement is part of taking the responsibility. Because when you acknowledge something, you no longer, I suppose you get out of the victim consciousness by acknowledging and taking responsibility, as opposed to, okay, a diagnosis is given to you. You hear that you have whatever, cancer or this or that, and you go, oh, poor me. And you're going to get sick and you're going to go into fighting. But ultimately, it's not disease that you fight, it's yourself. Because disease is always, it has been proven by the work of so many people. Beautiful Louise Hay, for instance. I don't know if you know her,
yes.
if you're familiar.
Yes.
She's done this fantastic work.
Yeah, but may I ask, when you say people go into this victimizing themselves and stuff, I understand that, but what should they do instead? The word love is everything and unconditional love and all this. For many people, it's words, and they would love to have it, or they would like to integrate it in their life. They would like to be it, to live it, but they don't really have the access to it. So what can you do instead of victimizing yourself with a disease or whatever, or what is happening in your life that is sort of not wanted? What can you do, and how can love work with this?
That's a big question. It takes time. It took me quite a bit of time, because that was not the end of it. I had other diagnoses of the soul after, even. And I believe that a lot of us, and maybe everybody, I'm not sure of that, but we have some soul memories as victims. Like, take all the healers, all the people who are into energy work, healing with plants, natural medicine. Most of us, because we are a bunch on planet Earth, we share having, in ancient times, being called witches. We've been burnt, we've been tortured in some cases.
Yeah, there's trauma involved. Trauma in the cells or whatever.
Very deep trauma. And I call them soul memory aspects that still contain the stigma of the victim and the victimization. So it does take time to let go of these layers. It's layers upon layers upon layers. So that's why, from healing my own self, this own body, I have developed that technique, which is this quantum reunification, which is all about bringing back into the heart space. I'll develop a little bit more about that later, if you want. So it's an alchemization, if you want. It's an alchemical process, because being a victim is a resonance with the vibration of fear. Okay.
Yes.
The universe is, I believe that we all came from love. I believe that we are all one consciousness with many faces, many bodies, many experiences, many perspectives. And that is the experience of, some say, God wanting to know it, big quotes, self. Love is in my understanding, love is the reality, the real reality. That's why I named my album Only Love is Real.
And
sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Love is the reality. Love is not attachment, because a lot of humans confuse love and attachment. Romantic love, human romantic love, is more often related to attachment. I love you, I need you, you're my whatever. That is attachment. Love is what holds. Somebody asked me once, what is love? I say, I cannot pretend to define love, but what I can tell you is I feel it's what holds the stars in their place in the sky, in the universe. Love is, the innocence of a child. Love is everywhere and everything, and in each and every one of us. Now, fear is part of the illusion. It constantly tries to oppose love. And so there are lots of studies that have been made on fear and the amygdala and the reptilian brain and all of these things. But it's true that we live in a world where there's a lot of fear. Our survival is globally not always threatened. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of threat on that with the pandemic, but that's another discussion. So, but what we take for instance, we take the matter, the table, which is under my hand. If I tap on it, you hear sound because it's hard. But in reality, it is atoms in movement.
Yeah, it's the molecules. Keya, I thank you so much up to this point, and we have the pleasure now to hear your song. We are hearing now from Keyakyea, Only Love is Real. Enjoy.
Wenn euch bis hierher gefallen hat, dann abonniert uns auf Facebook und auf YouTube, damit ihr immer informiert seid.
J'en ai tant souffert quand je n'étais qu'une enfant. En ce moment, la terre en est malade cruellement. Je n'en connais pas un seul qui n'en ait depuis tout ce temps conservé quelques failles, quelques blessures secrètement. Le manque d'amour tue le monde lentement. Nous allons tout droit dans le mur et nous y allons sûrement. It's only love that we all need. It's only true love who will be there to take heed. C'est seulement d'amour dont nous avons tous tant besoin. L'inconditionnel amour qui nous montrera un nouveau chemin. J'entends les échos de la guerre, trop de violence, assurément. Je perçois l'appel de la terre, notre planète, notre maman. Si le temps n'est pas à la fête, non, c'est la galère pour bien des gens. Il nous faut sauver la planète pendant qu'il il en est encore temps. Donner de l'amour universel, médicament, sans donner la nuit et le jour, et surtout en donner à nos enfants. Only love that we all need. It's only true love. Will you be there to take heed? C'est seulement l'amour dont nous avons tous tant besoin. Inconditionnel amour qui nous montrera comment construire demain. Only love that we all need. It's only true love who will be there to hear my plea. C'est seulement d'amour dont nous avons tous tant besoin. L'inconditionnel amour qui nous ouvrira un nouveau chemin. Only love that we need to sow the seed. It's only true love. Will you be there to hear my plea? Seulement d'amour dont chacun a tant besoin.
Wow, Keya, that was such a nice song. And it's your son in it, isn't it?
It is my son when he was
Aw.
younger. He's
Yeah,
20.
bless. So sweet. Now, my dear, we're gonna play 3 wild values. And this is a card set I created, and it has 150 words in it in German. So choose wisely, so I know the English equivalent for it. And I'm gonna do my finger around it, and you just say stop when you think you feel like it. All right?
Stop.
Ah. Sensitivity. What does that have to do with you and your life?
Everything. Everything. I was born a super sensitive being, and it was not always easy, but it serves me so well, and it serves so many so well now, because thanks to this super sensitivity, I am allowed to do crazy stuff in the quantum to heal people, in service for people. So I love sensitivity, and I honor my sensitivity so much.
Oh, that's good. Wow. These cards are magic. Did I say that?
Well, I confirm.
Wonderful. And they actually available for purchasing. So if anybody wants one, then they can do that. So then the second one. Oh, I try here. I start here.
Okay, stop.
Oh. Selflessness.
Very
Down
much
to the point.
Very much on point, because that is exactly the choice I've made for my life, to go from self, like what your first question was, or second, being on stage, being the center of attention, that's all about me, myself, and I, self in a way, because I believe that artists are more than just that, and I respect and love them. And now selflessness is really being here with no personal agenda. I've let go of the I want, completely. I no longer want things, honestly, and I serve, and it is so blissful.
Wow. Wow. Your third value, Keya, I do from this side again.
I'm closing my eyes and saying stop.
Idealism. Is that a word?
Yes. Interesting, because when I was a teenager and a very young woman, everybody used to tell me, oh, you are such an idealist. And I was like, is that a crime? I believe that from lacking idealism, we've made the world become quite an ugly place sometimes, you know? And there are lots of things that we all suffer from because we didn't, collectively speaking, carry with courage, because it does take courage, you know, being idealistic does not mean...
It's funny that you say courage, by the way. That was a card that flipped out before I showed you the cards. Sorry to interrupt you. Say again.
That's great, because courage is needed to really, truly be an idealist. You truly need deep, big, profound courage from the gut, I tell you.
You actually invented your own healing method.
Quantum reunification. It's all about, so I didn't invent it. I almost channeled it, or yeah, I was guided to create this technique. This technique allows the person to be reconnected with their verticality and both connections. The Mother Earth's energy, which is very strong, which is sustaining our very existence in the matter, right? On one end, and on the other end, the cosmic energy, Father God, Father Sky, Grandfather Sky, whatever you want to name it, energy. So the cosmic energy. When these two flow through us, and the creativity center, which is the Hara chakra, the womb for the woman as well, and the heart chakra, when these four are in alignment into the heart flowing, and we allow love to flow, no disease can remain. And so I've seen just miracles take place.
Yes, I mean, you really do that. I would say across time and dimension. You healed a boy in Canada.
A dear friend of mine who lives in Toronto in Canada, and her little son had some heart surgery because of some holes in the heart, and she was asking for help, and my little voice, my inner voice told me, you can help. And I was like, what? You're kidding? He's an 8-year-old little boy. He's just out of heart surgery, so it's very, very delicate. But the voice within insisted. So I talked to my friend, and she said, oh, please do it. And I said, okay, can you send me a photograph of the little child? And the minute I opened the photograph and I saw his eyes, I felt as if he was waiting for me. He was waiting, he was calling. And then my guides, because I'm not alone, you know, it's not me, I'm a conduit. So
do you have to believe in it or just be open for it? What do you have to be?
No, it's a permission. I cannot do anything if I don't have permission. And I had permission of the little boy's soul. And before doing anything, I always ask for permission. So I had the permission of the mother, who said, yes, 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 go for it. She trusted me 100%. And when I did that, I had all along, so, you know, my eyes are closed. I'm in the energy world. It's beyond time and space. It's another dimension of, of existence. And I had the impression that I had a pair of eyes watching everything I was doing. And it didn't last very long. Next morning for them, when they woke up, the mom messaged me and she said, I can't believe it. He woke up free of any, because he was covered in rash. He had an allergy to whatever. So he was completely fine. And she said, but you're never going to guess what? When he woke up, he said, Mom, I had a dream. Can you tell you my dream? Can I tell you my dream? And she said, yes, of course. And he explained to her everything that had been done through my consciousness.
How can possibilities change people's life?
In every way, because if you realize that the quantum is this infinite field of possibility. And we get back to the idea of responsibility, because if we realize that we constantly have a choice, and in every move we make, in every word we say, in every thought we have or we give our attention to, right? Because the monkey mind is a chitter-chatter, constant chitter-chatter. So if we live under the tyranny of this guy, we are again going back into the victim, into like, I can't do anything, I didn't have choice. But we do have choice. This planet is actually a planet of choice. It's the only planet in the multiverse where we have so much choice, and we're here to learn to choose.
So it's a choice of thoughts I'm going to think, and that creates or contributes to my life, or either not. Either I moan all the day or I smile. Thank you, Keya, for your smile in our show today. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm happy that I made the choice to invite you. So thank you so much. I'm so happy that you've been here. And we are blessed again with one of your songs. And for everybody out there, everybody who's watching, please lower your barriers, expand, and let this music in. I chose this song because I think it's really able to touch everyone's heart. So enjoy this song. It's called Love, Serve, and Remember. Thank you very much, Keya. Ihr Lieben, das war Butter bei die Fische, der Ter Veen Talk, die beste Talkshow der Welt. Auf Englisch das allererste Mal. Ich bin total happy darüber. Wenn ihr das Ganze mit deutschen Untertiteln haben wollt, dann geht auf unseren YouTube-Kanal und guckt es euch da an und stellt euch dort die Untertitel auf Deutsch ein. Das ist eine Möglichkeit. Ich freue mich, wenn ihr dabei wart. Ich freue mich, wenn es euch gefallen hat und ihr uns einen Daumen hoch lasst oder den Kanal abonniert und davon natürlich weitererzählt. Und ich freue mich auch, wenn es das nächste Mal wieder heißt:
Butter bei die Fische!